they asked me to put on this Red Ranger suit, and I put this thing on, and it's tight. It was like tighty-whities from my ankles to my neck. And I was just like, because spandex wasn't really a thing. You'd see like some girls in the 1980s doing their spandex thing on jazzercise. That was the most times you ever saw spandex. Nowadays, you got people walking around in workout clothes that never done a workout in their life, but they're like, look at my yoga pants. And some of them can't spell yoga, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, let me see. So I'm wearing these super tight clothes, and I'm insecure the way an 18-year-old boy would be who thinks he's now got to be the man. And I get this thing on, I'm like, I can't believe I'm wearing this. Putting it on in the mirror, and I'm standing there, and then I'm like, hey.
Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally with Q&As, we do the general, I ask him a whole bunch of questions, and he's talking, and then maybe the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes, he'll answer a question or talk to you directly. We're going to do the opposite. I'm going to throw maybe 1 or 2 questions to him, and after I do my proper introduction, and then I'm going to throw it to all of you to ask whatever questions you would love to ask this gentleman here, and this way you feel more engaged, and it's Austin just talking with you like he's in a room by himself with you and just talking with you.
It's a fireside chat of sorts.
Yeah.
I was like,
without the fire.
The way he was explaining that, I felt like,
Hey, as a matter of fact, why don't we do something? Why don't we have the chair out here and you just sit right here? And then this
well, I'm not going to sit. I'm a stander, but I can stand out there.
Yeah,
that works.
All
right.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Because when you sit down, you get all tired. And you're like,
I know. Tell me about it. And then we got Brian Civic Mind Lester. He's going to go around and bring the mic over, and then you'll be able to get up and talk and say your name. Don't be shy. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Not too many people are going to get. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the man, the myth, the legend, the man who started it all, the true leader of the Power Rangers, the Red Ranger himself, Austin St. John!
That was like my WWF intro right there.
Well,
I feel like I should come in and like tear off my shirt. Ah!
Do it.
I need to get my Hulk Hogan on now.
So now I'm going to go right down to the. How's it feel? 32 years. 32.
Why are you counting?
Dude.
He keep counting. He's throwing those numbers out.
It felt like it was yesterday. It felt like it was yesterday.
That's better.
No, seriously.
He's getting better now.
When we were all watching it, and we were like, wow, this is something different. This is something new. And when you started off the show, you're like, it's morphin' time. And I'm like, holy
Tyrannosaurus.
Yep. Again, how does it feel, though? It just feels like it was yesterday.
Big bucks.
Yes.
Man, I tell you what, had they told me at 18, all right, dudes, 18, raise your hand. Remember 18?
Yep.
Okay. You hit 18, you're like, I'm a man. Right? You were all big and tall, even if you were like 5'9". You're like, yeah, I'm a man. Right? Mom tried to tell you something, you're like, no, I'm a man. I mean, yes, man. But you had your man on. And then you meet your first hot girl, mom's not there, dad's not there, and you think you're smooth. You're like, hey, how you doing? She's like, She's out, right? So at 18, you think you got stuff down, but deep inside, you're insecure as hell because you're out the house and you got to figure life out. And you're like, oh, I got bills. Welcome to manhood, right? And you call your mama, hey, mom, I got this electric bill. She's like, good luck. She's like, my grocery bill went down $1,000 when you left. I ain't paying your electric bill, right? So now you got to figure it out. You got to be a man. You got to step up. You get these bills in the mail, and you're like, I have to open that. And then I have to write a check. How many of you some of you guys haven't written a check, right? Some of you guys are young enough now. You're like, we have a debit card, right? All right, so I was at 18 and I was like, I'm a man. And I was realizing I had no idea what the heck that meant. I had bills. I was trying to puff up and be tough, and I was in great shape. I was a martial artist. I was confident and terrified. I'm walking on to a TV show now. And they're like, you're going to put on, okay, boys, again. And those sisters in the house that had little brothers who parents stuck them in tighty whities. How many of you got stuck in tighty whities as a kid? Oh my God, is that not the worst underwear on the planet? I mean, it's perfect for boys, but you get into manhood and you're like, what was mom thinking? She was thinking they were cheap. That's what she was thinking. Gets you some Fruit of the Looms, right? So they asked me to put on this Red Ranger suit, and I put this thing on, and it's tight. It was like tighty whities from my ankles to my neck. And I was just like, because spandex wasn't really a thing. You'd see like some girls in the 1980s doing their spandex thing on jazzercise. That was the most times you ever saw spandex. Nowadays, you got people walking around in workout clothes that never done a workout in their life, but they're like, look at my yoga pants. And some of them can't spell yoga, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, let me see. So I'm wearing these super tight clothes, and I'm insecure the way an 18-year-old boy would be who thinks he's now got to be the man. And I get this thing on, I'm like, I can't believe I'm wearing this. Putting it on in the mirror, and I'm standing there, and then I'm like, hey. Wait till I tie my shoe. The beach is that way, you know? I was like, wow, my muscles got muscles. Like, this is cool, right? So I had that whole thing going on, and then I walk on a set, and I see the army of people it takes to make 5 people look good. Hundreds. Directors, producers, makeup, wardrobe, lighting, gaffers, set dressing, like all of it, just so many people. Makeup, wardrobe, 18-year-old, okay, boys, back in the room. How many of y'all have ever worn makeup? I know it's 2025, so I know there's, okay, but on purpose, how many of you wore makeup? Okay, what'd you wear it for?
I was doing a production at school. We were doing the morning announcement, so to keep
Yep.
the face from being shiny.
Okay, so he knows. I didn't know that. I walk on the set at 18, they're like, yeah, okay, Austin, here's your wardrobe. 3 girls fussing over me. Like, and 2 of them were hot. Like, in their 20s, I was like, I just died and went to heaven, and they're fussing on me, and they're like, fix it. Oh, you got wrinkles here, baby. Let me take care of that. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, we need to sit. You just let your pecs out. Just fix these lines, let your pecs out. There you go. I'm like, don't stop. Ever. Please. I've died and gone to heaven, right? And so I'm in this happy place. I'm like, go ahead, pet me. This is beautiful. And then dude walks up to me. His name was Carlos. Carlos was the first gay man I ever met in my life. And Carlos was very feminine. He was just all sorts of in his element. This was his thing. And you better shut up and listen, girl. Right? He was his own tornado. And he walks up to me, and people that don't have a proximity, like, you have a bubble. You got a bubble. When I start getting like right up over here, you're like, get up out of my bubble, right? Carlos didn't have like bubble proximity alarms. Carlos came over and he's like, how you doing, baby? Like right there. And so he comes over me. I never met this man in my life. I sit down in the chair, and I'm sitting in this chair thinking, okay, he's gonna like what? Brush the hair on my head, okay. They got hair and makeup in here. He's gonna be like, whoosh. I did that twice this morning with my fingers. That was my brush, I'm good. He walks up to me, and he's like, and he gets over on the side, because I'm facing forward. I'm keep using her. And he's like, right here, he's like, you have the most amazing eyelashes. And I was just like, this is why my mama said don't talk to strangers. Right? Like, woo, I was feeling a little creepy. So I was like, I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm scared with my mama. So I'm sitting there, he's turning my eyelash. He's like, all right, I'm gonna put a little foundation on you. Now in my head, growing up as a Marine Corps brat, I'm going through my Rolodex. I'm like, foundation, rocks, water, sand, and a mixture of different kinds of rocks to make concrete, which makes foundation that a house goes on. I was like, wow, we're gonna put concrete on my face. And he's like, and then he pulls out this beautiful looking little jar that looks like it belongs in a makeup world. And he puts it in his hand, and then he takes this little triangle looking thing, little white triangle. And I'm watching him, and at this point, I'm terrified and confused. And he walks over to me, and he does this. He's like, he's got the thing in his hand, and he dips it in there, and he does it on his arm, and then he looks at it, does it on his arm, and then he puts his arm next to my face. And he was like Latin. Now, I get dark for a white dude, but I'm not like Puerto Rican. You know, I don't get that. Actually, I get pretty dark, but probably not that dark. And so he's comparing all this, and finally he comes up and he starts putting this stuff on my, and it was cold and pasty. And I was just like, what are you doing to my face? He's like, honey, everybody needs foundation. I was like, why? And he's like, it just smooths out your skin and the blemishes, makes it even. That way when they get you on camera, they don't get all these hot spots. I was like, hot spots. And he's like, you get shiny. I was like, when I sweat, I get shiny. Like, that's normal. So I didn't understand. So I'm trying to be 18, and I'm walking into meeting dudes like Carlos. I got beautiful women like fussing all over me. And then I got other dudes that are like the light that grips and electricians. They're walking in. They're like 500-pound, sandbags. Move, boy. Put down the bag and get, come back over here. Why you standing there? Go do something. You're in my way. I'm like, so I didn't know which way to go. People being nice to me, people doting on me, people who were like, could have cared less that I had a pulse. I'm in their way. And I know I'm now the star of a show, but I had no idea how to handle it. That was crazy. And the show, nobody heard of it yet. The show was called Phantoms when I auditioned. Wasn't even called Power Rangers. I knew I was going to be one of 5 superheroes and that I was supposed to save the world. That was all I knew. After a year of filming, 86 episodes, 2 to 3 episodes a week. Seinfeld films maybe 3 episodes a year. Star Trek, maybe 13 episodes a year. Star Trek, 13 episodes a year. That's a union show. My first season was 60 episodes. Crazy. Nobody does that. And we shot, it was crazy. We were there 4 or 5. The girls were there earlier because they had more makeup, more hair. So they were usually there an hour before the boys. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We get in at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we leave at 10, 11 at night. That was 5 days a week. And then Saturday, I would go back in, and then I was doing ADR. I was in the studio, so I'm in a box all the time. And you hear this boop, boop, boop. And then I'd have to lip sync with someone that had no lips, my Red Ranger character. And it was always, so I had to match the motions. But you have to match the energy too, because I'm standing in a room that's an ice cube like this in front of a little microphone. And dudes out there getting blown up and jumping all around, and I got to make that work. So it can't be like, ow, that fire was hot. That doesn't exactly match up. They're going to be like, who's this joker? That doesn't sound like he's in trouble. Instead, you got to learn how to over-drama things. And I was like, well, I was a little kid once. I could figure this out. Ow, that fire's hot! And now they're like, oh, that sounds real. And all I did was bring out my inner 5-year-old. So the whole reason I survived Power Rangers is because I brought out my inner child, and I haven't let him go since. So that's kind of how it went. That's how it started.
I love that. You know what? Because of that good start-off jumping point, we're going to start right off the gate. Now, we're going to have 2 sides. When we ask anybody that wants to ask questions, Brian is going to be on this side, I'm going to be on this side. So, raise your hand. Who has the first question?
I actually have the first question before we toss it out.
Go for it.
Real quick, because you had mentioned you have a martial arts background. What did you study before you were on the show, and do you still keep up with it?
Yeah, my first black belt was in judo. So I started in Kenpo under my father when I was 5, the morning of my 5th birthday. And then my father went off to a war in places most of you have never heard of. He was fighting Sendero Luminoso in Peru. He was against the FNLN in El Salvador. So I spent time in Latin America with some of the stuff that he was doing. But when I wasn't with him, my mom was throwing me into dojos. Well, my first dojo was judo. They speak, it's a Japanese art. Sensei wouldn't speak English. I was 5. The next youngest kid in that entire class was 11. So it was like me standing next to this guy. I'm 5 years old with a white belt. I'm looking at this 11-year-old who's wearing like a green belt, and I wasn't even old enough to know how bad it was gonna hurt. But I learned. And by the time I was out of there a year later, I was throwing around 11 and 12-year-olds, and they're like, damn, son, what's going on? Because I learned the advantage that I have over this big old dude is I got a lower center of gravity, and I know how to use it. So there's advantages. Size has its advantages. Less size has its advantages too. Female have its advantages. Like today in martial arts, when we talk about martial arts, a lot of times women are like, oh, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And that's crazy to me today because we see women all over UFC that are wrecking it. I'm just like, woo! Did you see that? Because she just got kicked in the face by that other girl, and she definitely did not see that. It was just like, wow! In my time, women were just getting hot in the UFC. Like, it was called UFC. It wasn't MMA yet. And women, dudes, if it was up to you to have a baby, would you have a baby? It's awfully quiet in here, except for women laughing at us, right? Yeah. Much less would you have one and go, ooh, that was fun, let's do it again. Right? No. That's because they have a higher pain tolerance, but they're not told that. So mentally, they're trained to think, oh, they can't handle the fight. Let me tell you, they can handle far more than you think. Next, well, there's only one way to get that baby out. It's called flexibility. They're very flexible. We as men are not. When you have flexibility equals speed. Speed, flexibility, and pain tolerance. The next thing they have is most of their mass is in their lower hips, where their strength is. So they have a lower center of gravity. When they learn how to use that against us bigger dudes with the more mass upstairs, if they know what they're doing, they will throw you around like a rag doll and make you ask for mama. Right? So when it comes to the martial arts, I've been outgunned in height most of my life because I'm 5'9". Probably 5'8" now. I'm shrinking. I'm getting to that age. I was always walking into guys that were bigger, guys that were stronger, guys that were, crazy talented. And then I got on Power Rangers, and I was around 22, 30 some odd of the world's greatest martial artists. And you can't help but learn stuff. So from judo to taekwondo, Chongdukwan taekwondo, they don't even talk about that anymore. It's all ATF, WTO, all these acronyms that are out there. And Kenpo and Muay Thai kickboxing. And I went through Shinkido and Palbangdo, and because my dad was a Marine. So the option was you can train or you can quit. And every time we move, you can pick up what's available or you can quit. So I picked up everywhere we moved, sometimes every 6 months. Okay, now I'm training in Hapkido. Okay, now it's Kendo. Okay, now it's Kenpo. Now it's Kimpo, K-E-M-P-O, instead of N-P-O. And now it's Pailam Tao, and now it's this, and now it's that, Sanshi. And I just started training in everything. And it's called being hybrid. So I was hybrid before hybrid became cool. And because I was fighting with big dudes, little dudes, I get in the ring with women sometimes. And sometimes they were women who were early in their journey and they're terrified of being in the ring. And sometimes it was women who were salty dogs. And they were like, and I'll give you another one when you get up. Stop bleeding on my floor. So I've learned there's no archetype for victory. The greatest thing that stands between you and victory is one thing: whether or not you believe it's yours. Talent helps, speed, power, balance, confidence, all that helps. Those are all valuable. Sleep helps. But I have seen people that have never been a warrior a day in their lives do things you cannot comprehend because there was no other option for them. So you can be a martial artist, you can be a boxer, you could be a gymnast, you could be a house mom, a house dad, you could be a computer technician, you could be a tree forest guy, whatever, I don't know. You can be whatever you want. But whether or not you're going to walk into and out of a battle is often decided long before the battle begins. And this is a lot of what Sun Tzu talks about. A true warrior won the fight before it ever got started. And that starts here, because you cannot allow for anything else. I have far more respect for a man or a woman who's been knocked down 29 times in public and stomped on, but got up 30 times. rather than the dude who's only been knocked down twice and is standing there like he's a beast. That's why the Phoenix is famous, right? Burned into ashes, destroyed. Or is he? He's not destroyed. He's remade. He's reborn. And this is what defeat and destruction served for me. I've had many. I've had them in the Middle East. I've had them in business. I've had them in life. I've had them as a husband. I've had them as a father. But never have I been defeated. Because every time I have these things, I'm reborn. And I learn. And the key is to be a better man tomorrow than I am today. That is the key. So, yeah, you screwed up, he screwed up, she screwed up. Don't spend your time pointing fingers at them. You better get your butt in that mirror and pay attention to what it is you're doing. And I'll tell you this, whether you have a faith or not, I do. A man who bends a knee before God can stand before anyone. So, that's kind of my rant there, sorry.
No.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Way off the martial arts. I went in
that's
all
cool.
kinds of directions. But that's because
basically, I just want to know if you could beat me up, and I think the answer is yes. So we're good.
Yeah, so Sis is a martial artist, so that's what
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So the answer to that is, how do you defeat a man who will never stop getting up?
You do not.
There you go.
Okay, so Siv, do you want to start off and see who wants to?
Yeah, right up here. Here, why don't you stand up for us? Give us your name.
My name's Jared. You're the GOAT. So my question is, with your martial arts background, did you help with any of the choreography for the show? And in what way did you do that?
I choreographed every fight I ever did. I stopped counting. I couldn't even count them. Hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands. There were times where I helped David Yost with some of his stuff. There were times where I helped Twee, who played Trini, with some of her stuff. There were times where I sat down. I mean, every fight, you know, how many movies do you see today where they're not even wearing costumes? And you could tell that the actor is no longer in the fight scene and it's some stunt dude, because all you see is the side of the head or the back of the head. Dude takes a role and he's over here hiding his face under his arm. Like, you never saw that with me. Anytime I was not in a suit, every time you could see this face. And that's because I was always there doing the fight. They couldn't keep me from doing the dangerous stuff. Like, I live for that. I still live for that. I died with great white sharks. I spent 4 years in the Middle East. I've fought with so many guys that outclassed me in the world of martial arts, and I never do it with fear. I do it with respect and the understanding that it's probably gonna hurt, but I'm gonna learn something really cool. And I'm gonna have a lot of time to think about it in the hospital. So, fighting, man, I was all over it. I've worked with some of the greatest stunt choreographers in time, and they knew me. Like, they knew, like myself, Johnny Bosch, Jason Frank. We were the guys, and Walter was really good too. He was a martial artist. But Walter, Johnny, and I, or Jason, Johnny, and I, when we would choreograph a fight, we would literally go over 15 minutes before filming. Choreograph the whole fight with like 12 dudes, and while they're setting up camera, the director's just kind of watching us and figuring out where they're going to put the camera. And then he may come in and be like, could you turn this one piece that way? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then 15 minutes, a fight with 15 dudes, and bam, we turn it on, nail it in 1 or 2 takes. And you don't do that unless, and it's not my talent. That's not just my talent. That's 15 moving parts. Hundreds of movements that are taking place, and we never hurt each other. So I never knocked another guy out. Another guy never knocked me out. Walter did break a dude's nose. I'm gonna let him tell you that story. He'd be like, Austin said you broke a dude's nose. It's like, he broke it hard too. Like, whop, whop. But miscommunication, you know? Twee hurt a knee, stuff like that. So it's, martial arts it's so much more than this. It's so much more than this. And it took me, when I got into probably my 40s, after having broken everything, countless times, my back, ribs, hands, feet, everything. Martial arts it's a code. It's a lifetime lesson in humility. It's a lifetime lesson in strength and the forging of men and women, you know? And that's what it is. People talk about, everybody gets focused on, did you win or did you lose? That's never what's most important. What's most important is the transformation. Story of a guy who rock builder, way back in the days. Rock builder he had this huge quarry, old school. We'll say this was like pre-Egyptian. And had all these guys, and they'd go out, and dudes had to move rocks by hand. Pick them up, move them over here. Pick them up, move them over here. Move them all day long. These guys, this was their life. That's what they did. That's all they did all day, every day. These guys were tough. This one strong guy comes in, young, and the lead mason is like, man, this dude is, he's got a frame on him. This guy's gonna like be a powerhouse. But he doesn't tell this kid that. Instead, what he does, he says, you see that huge rock over there? We're talking 25 tons. He says, I want you to move that rock over there. Now, this kid isn't stupid. He takes one look at that rock and he's like, but he knows better than to run his mouth. So he gets up and he goes over there and he starts pushing on that rock and pushing on that rock and pushing on that rock. Years go by. Every day, this kid is out there on that rock, pushing everything he's got all day long, trying to move this rock. And the lead mason is making sure he's doing it. Finally, the lead mason's on his deathbed, and this kid comes over, and he's now mad. And he walks over. He says, sir, do I still need to move that rock? And he looks at him. He says, no. He says, why did you have me move a rock you knew I couldn't move? He says, every day I failed. He says, I went to bed with that. And Mason said, no. Every day you won because you were transformed. He goes, look at you standing next to every other guy out there. All these men are strong and capable, but look at you. And he was just, boom. 2-3 times their size. Endurance never ending because he's trying to move 25 tons by himself all day, every day. It was never about moving the rock. It was about the transformation. And that's what this is about in life. That's about what martial arts. It's not just learning how to throw a right cross or uppercut or scoop or any of those. It's about the transformation that happens to the mind and the body in the process, and then praying that you never have to put it to use when that day comes, that you can avoid that violence. But should that violence come, then you better be more violent than your opponent, and you better do it well. Right?
All right, so we're going to take a question over here. Let's go with this young man. Go ahead and tell us your name, and go ahead and ask Austin. There you go.
My name is Braden, and I would like to ask you, what do you think about the new Power Ranger shows?
So the only one that okay, now we're getting into a whole nother world. Are we talking about Power Rangers Online that's filming in London right now? Or are you talking about the seasons that came after me? Okay, all right. I think they're pretty cool. There's a lot of seasons and episodes with new characters. What'd you think? I believe you. Did you like them? Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of other people like them too. They're kind of popular. Yeah, that's how I know I did my job right. Because they all got jobs later because of it. Right? If I hadn't done my job right, they wouldn't have ever filmed anything. I haven't seen too many of them, but I'm starting to watch now. I have a show called Fanward, FANWARD.com, and I do video. I've got hundreds of videos there with Walter Jones, who was Zach the Black Ranger, for those of you who maybe grew up in his era. And I just did the first episode stream of any other series I've ever seen, and it was Time Force. And I learned a couple things about that and talk about it online, and then some other cool stuff. But I've only seen 3 episodes that I've filmed. Did you know that? Out of like 100 plus episodes. I live with this every day. Why do I need to look at it on my TV? Right? I know other actors are all about that. They're like, ooh, let me look at me. I'm like, no. I'm happy to shave in the dark. Like, I may have a Dallas Star over here and a Redskin helmet on the other side, but I'm good with that. You know what I mean? It's called rolling with it, buddy.
You would say that in Philly.
That's right. That's right. Tough guys don't what?
Tough guys don't look at explosions.
That's right. That's right. There you go, buddy.
All right, do we have any more questions over on this side here? Excuse me. No, we don't. Not any over. No one over here? Oh, we got one person. Okay. Over here. Come here, over here to me. All right, give us your name and your question, please.
Hey, I'm Mark Osman. I want to know, when you guys had the Putty Patrol, did you work with the same guys over and over again, since they were under the mask, so you could just use whoever you wanted?
Good question.
Oh, man. Let me tell you, the stunt guys are some of the greatest unsung heroes of the entire cast. Because how great does a Power Ranger look doing martial arts in the air all by himself? Right? It's a lot cooler when you can wipe out 15 dudes in 30 seconds. People are like, damn! Like, that's cool. I want to be that guy. I want to be that girl. I want to be both those guys and girls, Like, you see some cool stuff. So the stuntmen are the unsung heroes. Kind of like the United States military is the unsung hero why we all get to sit here and say whatever's on our mind in public. Right? But most of them aren't going to stand up here and ask you to say thank you for that. So the putties, their job, other than... who in here thinks that the putties didn't sound like angry turkeys? Right? Angry turkeys all day long. All I could think about was Thanksgiving. Every time I had a fight, I was like, cranberry sauce with him, stuffing with that one. But we had a great time, man. We got our fight on, and we whooped up on each other. Sometimes I'd fight one and kick him out of camera view that way, and he'd run back around the camera and jump back in as a new putty on this side. And y'all never knew the difference. So I'm like, it may have only been 6 dudes, but they might have gone through 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I fought 18 dudes. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. The putties were amazing.
Okay, we're going to take a question over here. Right here, in red.
Hi, my name is Harvey. It was nice to meet you earlier today. Besides you, who would you say is your favorite Red Ranger overall?
Besides me. People always lay that out. Not talking about you, but other than you. Could you pick another favorite other person other than you? I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? Do I look that shallow? I guess so. I don't know. I would probably have to pick either Dan Southworth or Jason Font from Time Force. They're my guys. Dan Southworth is an incredible martial artist. I respect him immensely. So I love the work that he did in Time Force as Quantum Force Ranger. And Jason Font is just a cool dude, man. So I got much respect for both those guys. And the other guys, had a lot of talent too. I just haven't spent as much time with them. So I guess those are the 2 I would pick.
I was actually thinking of them to myself, actually.
Yeah, good choice. Okay, we're gonna keep it moving. All right. Oh, says he messed with you in a Star Trek.
Okay. My name is Mark Morton. I've watched Power Rangers from the first episode back in 1993. When I met Walter, I said I wanted to be him when I was a kid. Sure. One of the episodes that I have to say I absolutely loved was Forever Red. Yeah. What was it like working on that?
Man, that was really cool. I was actually in the fire department as a volunteer. I was a volunteer. I started volunteer before I went paid, and I just got my EMT basic. So I was, just learning how to save lives and learning what it is to show up people's houses in the middle of the night in their darkest hour. And I think it was an email from one of the producers, and they're like, hey, would you want to come out and shoot a Red Ranger episode with all the Red Rangers? I was like, I knew about Tommy and I knew about Steve Cardenas, so that's who I knew as Red Rangers. And this was like in 2000, I think, 2001. And I was like, oh, that could be cool. I was like, he was like, yeah, we're gonna have all of them in there. He kept saying all of them like it was a lot. I was like, there's 3, man. Like 1, 2, 3. Like, what are you talking about? All the Red Rangers. And I was like, well, how many Red Rangers are there? And he's like, there's 10. And this is what he heard. I was like, you've been killing off all the Red Rangers every season? Like, what happened to the world of the Red Ranger? What have I missed? Like, because when I left Hollywood, I wasn't checking in and keeping a pulse on Power Rangers. So, I got to go into the chief. I'm like, hey, chief, can I take a few days off? He's like, sure. What do you need? How many shifts you got to trade? I was like, I'll just trade probably two shifts, which would give me like 7 days. And He was like, yeah, absolutely. You just got to write down what's it for, what's it for. I was like, filming in LA. And he was like, what? I got to go film in LA for some stuff. And he's like, now everybody at the station knew I was a Red Ranger. So this was I couldn't hide it if I wanted to. Because I couldn't have a beard there. So I had my full-blown babyface Jason going on. And I still do. When I shave this, people are like, you look 25, dude. This is crazy.
That's the reason I keep this myself.
Right. Because you're a man. Right? We got to be mature. I shaved my face once. I came out of the bathroom. My 10-year-old daughter was like, ah! Dad! She didn't even know. She's like, what happened? I was like, I sneezed and it just stuck in the wall. Achoo! It was like a porcupine. You know, she was like, don't do that again, Daddy. She was not down with that. So I took days off. I went to LA and I went and shot. I remember walking on set. We were shooting at this old electric facility to just old-fashioned electrical facility that supplied the city. And I come walking in there and got all these young guys and I felt so old. Because at one point, a couple of guys walk up to me and they're like, dude, like, I grew up watching you. You the best. And I was like, all right, okay, I'm old. And so we get in there and we got to set up these fights. And there's all sorts of heavy-duty industrial equipment and stuff like that. And then one of the guys walked over and he dropped the question in front of like 10 stunt dudes and a whole bunch of the other Red Rangers. They're all standing there because Jason Frank and I were the first to choreograph. And they were like, can you still fight? Now, I was still in hella shape. I was in the fire department. Like, my abs still had abs, you know? And I was like, hold on. That's when the leather coat came off. They're like, wait, but you can't just take that off. I was like, yes, I can. Yeah. Took the coat off. I was like, what are we gonna do? Give me like 4 or 5 guys over here. They're like, all right. And so we set it up in front of this big backdrop and threw a kick, boom, boom. And then he grabbed a foot, then I did a flit, then I did split kicks and all that. And they were like, damn, okay, all right. Red still got it, you know? So I was like, let's play. So we had a good time. And then I went back to the world of, you know, bartending at night, going to college and running firefighter, 911 calls. So it was, it's kind of weird, man. I've always been able to just jump worlds like that. I don't know, maybe I got multiple personalities. That's why I got that twitch, you know? I don't know what's up.
I think we had another question over here, just real quick. Sir with the glasses up front. Sir.
Oh, okay.
You. Yes, you. Over here. To your right. There. No.
Which one?
The other right. You got him.
Hold on. If he doesn't know, then I'm going to go to you.
Was it you?
Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead.
My name is Nick. How long you know Tommy?
Did I know Tommy?
How long you know him?
How long did I know him?
Yeah.
How long did I know Tommy? Well, I knew... God, when did he come in? Maybe around episode 14? 14 or 15, I think, sounds about right, give or take. So that would have been, in any real TV show, that would have been probably the beginning of season 2. I met him then. That was the first time I'd ever met him. I found out later that he additionally had auditioned for the Red Ranger role on Power Rangers, which I thought was weird. David Yost also auditioned for the Red Ranger role. I don't know if you guys knew that. And they told him no, and he was like, well, can I audition for the Blue Ranger? And they were like, no. And so he went down the hall. This is what I'm talking about. A man who never stops getting up. He went down the hall and like grabbed dudes. He was like, hey man, can I borrow your shirt? Hey man, can I borrow your glasses? Went into the bathroom, wet his hair down, pasted it all over his head, looking super nerdy, and came back and was like, excuse me guys, could I audition for Billy? And they let him in, and that's how you got Billy the Blue Ranger. So, super cool. But how long did I know him? I knew him from the beginning of his days as the evil Green Ranger to, we filmed, 60 or 70 episodes together probably, which is a lot. Like, you can go into any TV series in history and find people that have filmed that much together is rare. You're talking like Star Trek, You're talking maybe like Star Wars. They don't even have episodes until you got to The Mandalorian. You know, so it's a rare thing to find something that runs that long. But, and then we kind of ran back into each other when I came back to the circuit. So years and years, I guess. We were never very close. I mean, we didn't get along well. There were times on set where we got along. We were pros. We did our job. We were the dynamic duo. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. Walter Jones was always my boy. So, you know, that's my guy right there. But Jason Frank was exceptional at what he did. You know, his character, Tommy, was meant to be loud and boisterous and flashy and over the top. He was meant to be the neon sign. And Jason was meant to be the rock. Walk softly, but carry a big damn stick. That's Jason. Two different characters, but both you couldn't do with the series without both of them.
Because I know you've been patiently waiting and patient. Go for it.
Hello, my name is Charles. Love the show. What is your favorite Red Ranger moment?
I mean, intro for Forever Red was pretty cool. Coming in on the Harley. It was actually a Honda, but it sounded like a Harley because of special effects. Riding that bike, it sounded like this. But when they put it on TV, it sounded like special effects did wonders. That's what we call a 50-foot Harley. From over here, it looks really good. And then you get close, you're like, that's a Honda. Come on, you know? But that intro was cool. Like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I thought there'd be one more. And everybody's kind of hangdog. And then here it comes. So that was a pretty cool Red Ranger moment. Another cool Red Ranger moment was in the unaired pilot where Jason had to pull the team together when we first get attacked and have everybody, because you saw when he left the command center, he's looking back at Zordon. Everybody turned their back and they're out. They're like, I'm out of here. And Jason, he gets halfway down the aisle and he turns back around and he's looking at Zordon because he feels it. He's like, this is right. And then they get jumped and he's like, hey man, Zordon said we should do this. Let's try it. That was his first leader moment. And that's what led to the teams that led to 700 episodes you guys love today.
I'm going to go way in the back, because hold on. I got to go way in the back. Because you got your hand all the way up. Okay. What do you want to know? Go for it.
Thank you. Hey, my name is Kumar.
Kumar, what's up?
Hey, I grew up watching you. Hey.
Everybody got to keep pointing out they grew up watching me. We all know. What's up, Kumar?
So, I was thinking, like, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers had some of the best damn music that they ever had in the entire series, right? Right, and I'm kind of a little disappointed with some of the later ones. I just want your thought process on what do you think about the music? Do you think what could they probably done better? What's your thoughts on that?
Oof, okay. He's in here like getting to the nitty gritty. Look, Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, we had beautiful girls, we had our alpha male dudes, we had gymnasts, we had martial artists, we had Trini, who was like a bonsai tree embodiment, like peace and love and intelligence. She literally translated for David Yost or Billy, who nobody could understand anyway. And we had mechs, and we had robots, and we had flips, and we had all this cool stuff. How could you possibly make it cooler? Write a wicked, bad electric guitar, go-go Power Rangers intro song. That song literally won awards. Like, it made the career for I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Thank you, Wasserman. That guy is still the guy in music. They're like, oh, Wasserman's coming? Like, go-go Power Rangers, Wasserman's coming? He's a legend. As far as the other guys, I never watched any of their stuff. I have no idea what their intro was like. I do know that the Gold Ranger intro was pretty dope, though.
So just to inject something just real quick, back to Kumar's question. So speaking about the music in particular, how many people here have played Rita's Rewind? Is that not the best version? Only a couple of people, but it's a great game. So just nod and agree if you, yeah.
You know,
the song they do for that, the metal version of it's insane. It's very, very.
You know, and that's a good question because I was gonna ask him, how does it feel? I'm talking to the OG Rangers. How does it feel when you see yourself, you see your character in video games, basically it's you. We're not going to sugarcoat this. It's the OG Rangers. They know when you think of the OG Rangers, we think of you. Like, so how does it feel when you see yourself in a video game, comic book, action figure? How does that make you feel?
You want to know how I really knew when I got famous? When I made the cover of the greatest comic book in the world with my wife that never knew she was my wife, otherwise known as Wonder Woman. They put me on the cover with Wonder Woman. Like, I've done hundreds of episodes, I've done films, I've done all kinds of cool stuff. When I got on the cover with Wonder Woman, I was like, life complete.
Now, are we talking about Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, or are we talking about...
No, the new one.
Oh, the new... Gal.
Gal Gadot.
Okay.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. on a scale of 1 to 10, yes, please. Oh, my heart. Somebody give me a pill. Woo! All right. I'm coming back to PG land. All right, here we go. So I made it with Wonder Woman. I hit the... No, I didn't make it with Wonder Woman. Made the cover with Wonder Woman. See, I'm going to be in there all day. I'm all messed up now. I hit the cover with Batman. I hit the cover with Superman. Like, these are like the guys...
You even took on Godzilla, didn't you?
What?
You took on Godzilla,
I took on Godzilla.
Yeah.
I've created my own artwork with Godzilla. Like, I've been on everything. And that's part of the legacy of the OG Rangers. Like, there's nowhere you get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossovers, right?
Yes.
Like, there's nowhere you can't put the Rangers. We're the everywhere guys. We infiltrate everything. Fortnite. I'm getting ready to stream Fortnite with a bunch of the fans. I'm going to put it on blast and, I'm going to say it. I'm going to play with myself on TV. Now get your head out of the gutter, all right?
All right, so we're going to take one more question, and we're going to roll the dice. This man here, because he's been pushing that stone throughout the whole panel. He's been pushing the stone.
Hey, my name is Greg. My name's Greg. It was nice to talk to you earlier. What I want to know is, do you prefer the Red Ranger or the Gold Ranger?
I get that question a lot. And I'll tell you, that's like, I was just about to make another comparison. That was way too deep. I'm not going to go there. Woo! People would have been up in arms. It's a hard choice for me, because when you look at the first 5 suits, and then look at the first 6 suits when the Green Ranger came on, any one of those suits by itself is iconic around the world. The show was in 40 some odd countries and 90 languages. People who never watched the show, like your mom's mom, if she's still here and you walked up and showed her a picture, she's probably gonna be like, oh, that was some kid thing. Yeah, I mean, she's gonna be familiar, right? She may not be like, oh, I watched that, but she's gonna know. So those first 5 suits are everywhere in all cultures in every continent on the country, like Star Trek, like Star Wars. It's everywhere. Gold Ranger doesn't have that play. I only did 17 episodes because they didn't have a bunch of other pre-recorded footage to film for it. So they would have had to completely film new footage, and they weren't doing that yet. But that Gold Ranger suit, they sent that to pimp my rides before I got there, because they blinged that thing out. I had Egyptian hieroglyphics. Like, that suit was fly. Man, I don't know how you would have made it better. Like one white Michael Jackson glove, maybe. Like, that suit was sick, right? And that Ranger is the only Ranger in the history of the show that had the power of 3 Rangers at one time. Most powerful Ranger they ever created. Man, did that piss Tommy off. I was like, how you doing over there, Red? You remember this? You remember this? I'm back. So we had a good time. I love the Gold Ranger suit. Because, anytime you wear black, like spies wear black, ninjas wear black. Like, when you go into combat and, some old Chuck Norris movie, the bad guys are always running around head to toe black, face paint, greased up, and they're like sneaking and in there to kung fu knife shoot, bing, bang, like dump the poison in your drink. Like, all those cats are wearing black because it's cool, it's sneaky, it's sly, you look thin, right? Black is cool. So I was all about black. I thought that was so cool. I need Can you tell I need another black suit? I'm just saying. So that could be fun. Come back as what about combining red and gold and making King Tyranno? That would be cool. Well, for those of you that don't know, check out asjcomics.com. I'm writing a story about what happened to Jason 30 years after he hung up the red suit at the end of the world. It's for the fans that grew up. It is dark. Demons, druids, cannibals, scavengers, elves, ancient bloodlines, reincarnations, runes, power stones.
Cats and dogs living together.
Cats and dogs. Yeah. Okay, Dan. Little Dan Aykroyd right there. I knew exactly where he was going. So check out ASJ Comics. Book 1 has sold out 5 times. Book 2, 4 times. Book 3 I'll release later this year, early next year. And picture Lord of the Rings meets Mad Max. It's dark. When I finish with book 12, I'm going to turn it into an animated series. And I know some of the greatest voice actors on the planet. So we're gonna drop it like it's hot. Stay tuned for that. And then for those of you that are coffee drinkers, the end of this year, I'm going to be dropping a coffee line. And I'm not playing around. Like, I don't like drinking coffee and then standing there like this. You know, like, I'm not supposed to have a Tourette's attack after I drink my coffee. I'm supposed to just feel sharp. So I'm going to be putting out some good Joe. If you guys like that, stay tuned on my social media. A lot of good stuff coming.
This is Bo Billingsley, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like and subscribe. But more importantly, have fun and follow your fandom.